noticed my pinky. Auto-animated. Parkinson's disease. I told Tracy the news. In sickness and in health, I remember her whispering.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 documentary film, Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. The film is directed by Davis Guggenheim, and obviously it focuses on the life and career of Michael J. Fox. Right, where do you start with this? I mean, I like documentaries. I mean, I do have a playlist dedicated to documentaries on this channel, and if there's a documentary comes along that has a subject matter that, you know, interests me in some way, I will generally watch it. There was a great documentary last year that I watched about Val Kilmer. And when I saw the trailer for this a few weeks ago, however long ago it was, this really interested me as well. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I am not what you would describe as like a super fan or anything when it comes to Michael J. Fox or even the Back to the Future films. I don't profess to be a major fan of those movies because I'm not. But I do recognise that Michael J. Fox was one of the biggest and most popular actors in, you know, the mid to the late 80s and even early 90s to a large degree. Hugely popular actor. Great screen charisma and charm, great comedy timing. He really had everything, you know what I mean? And this documentary focuses, I mean, you might think that this documentary might come across as, you know, a bit of a violin playing sympathy quest sort of thing, and it is absolutely not that. Nothing could be further from the truth. This film is very open, very honest. You know, he really does wear his heart on his sleeve, Michael J. Fox, and it is literally, because it was written by him, this, it is very much him, raw and in front of a camera, and you're seeing the best and worst of Michael J. Fox. And this documentary focuses on his early life, you know, as a young child, his struggles breaking into Hollywood, you know, on the poverty line, basically, until he got his big break in Family Ties. And that really is the show that catapulted him into the stratosphere. It talked about how he broke into movies, how he got the role in Back to the Future. And if you don't know, this film explains how he got cast in that film. Essentially, he thought he'd missed out on the part because he couldn't get out of Family Ties to kind of do it, and then basically they came a begging because Eric Stoltz, who was originally cast in Back to the Future, it wasn't working, so they wanted to recast the role. So he was allowed to do Back to the Future, however he wouldn't be released from Family Ties, so he was heading back and forth for 3.5 months either filming Back to the Future or filming Family Ties and getting a couple of hours sleep in between, sort of thing, you know what I mean? To get that film Back to the Future out and to commit and keep his commitment going on the sitcom Family Ties. So he talks about that, his break into movies, his time on Family Ties, his time when he met his wife Tracy, who he met on Family Ties, who he's still together with. They've got 4 children. It covers that. It covers his career right up to the point of when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, which was, and I didn't really know this. Obviously, I knew he had Parkinson's. Everybody kind of knows that now, you would think. But I didn't know just how early it was when he was diagnosed. And he was 28 years old when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's for the first time. And he carried on working for a long time, not telling anybody apart from his wife. And it talks about it. It started with his little pinky kind of doing, and one of his arms was kind of shaking, and he used to cover it up in movies by kind of keeping his left hand busy by holding. And it shows clips in the documentary of him holding props and phones or bags or anything to kind of keep that hand busy so that nobody spotted it. So he kept it quiet for a long, long time out of fear for his career and all this kind of stuff. He didn't want the roller coaster to end, whatever, ego, the whole thing. And he talks about it very raw and openly. And we see a lot of his life now, how difficult it is for him to get around, to move, to keep positive. You know what I mean? And that's one of the big things that I took away from this documentary is his positive outlook. He's not looking for sympathy in this documentary. It is just not like that at all. He just wants to talk about his life, really, and potentially raise a bit of awareness for Parkinson's disease. And you kind of come away from this feeling uplifted, feeling quite positive, because it is a very positive documentary, and he has still got that incredible charm and sense of humour. How he's still got his charm and sense of humour after everything he's been through, I don't know. And to see the love and support he has of his family surrounding him, his 4 kids and his wife, who he's very devoted to, and they're still very devoted to him, is very, very heartwarming. You could argue, if you were cynical, that, you know, he's got the money to get the help he needs every day, because he's got like a physio that's with him every day that helps him walk and, you know, work on his walking and the physio, and he goes and sees specialists. Of course he does. But it doesn't change the fact that, you know, he lives a very, very difficult life, and so does his wife, Tracy, who essentially has become his carer for the most part. So I would say, if you're a fan of, well, Michael J. Fox, if you're a fan of well-made documentaries, I would definitely strongly recommend checking this one out. This is one of the better ones I've seen. It's definitely on par with the Val Kilmer one last year that was very well received by most people. Again, that was very similar. You know, it dealt with the harsh realities of the life that Val Kilmer leads because of his illness and things that he's had. And this one is very much the same. It's fully narrated by Michael J. Fox throughout. It's got clips of his movies sewn into it, but done in a very, very clever way that really does help you kind of become really invested in this documentary. And like I say, while I've never been, I think my favourite Michael J. Fox film, if I'm being really honest, is The Frighteners. Beyond that, you know, I could tolerate most Michael J. Fox films, but I've never, like I say, been a huge fan of Michael J. Fox. And I'm certainly not a big fan of the Back to the Future films. So I came away from this, I felt educated, I felt like I'd learnt a lot, I felt uplifted. And for me, a good documentary, if you come away and you feel like you've learned something, but also you feel like what you've watched was definitely worth your while, then it absolutely has hit the mark. And I think this is one of the better documentaries I've seen over the last few years. So definitely want to check out if this one interests you in any way. So thank you very much for watching. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.